So who's ready for the CPI data report that is going to be released tomorrow, 1 hour before the market opens? I will be live streaming the CPI data report on my YouTube channel, and it is free. All I literally ask you to do is to drop a thumbs up. I want to make sure enough people show up, so let's make it worth it. I'm asking for 2,000 likes. And again, if you want me to host this free CPI data report and see how the market reacts, then make sure that you drop a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your post notifications so YouTube alerts you when it is that I go live. If you have any questions about what we talk about today, then feel free to send me a message via Discord, and that's that first link down below, or if you don't have Discord, send me a direct message via Instagram, and that's that third link in the description. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen. In this video, we're going to be breaking down what are the current expectations of the CPI data report? And I'm going to give you a really quick definition of a CPI data or inflation report if you're unaware of what it actually is. So in today's earlier session, there was an FOMC minutes meeting. It's more of an FOMC minutes report. And I was live streaming it, and I talked about closing out my position where I was shorting the NASDAQ market. This is SQQQ, and this goes up when the NASDAQ market goes down. So you could imagine, as the NASDAQ market has been selling off recently, SQQQ has been very lucrative as it's been going up every time the NASDAQ market drops. I made a little bit over 10,800 today shorting the NASDAQ market, and I reduced my position size right back to 1 share. Again, I don't know how the CPI data report is going to be released. I don't know if it's going to be above or below expectation. Therefore, I'm not here to predict the future. I'm here to prepare for it. And I think one of the best things to do to prepare is no one that prepares for something freaks out when the market sells off. Because someone like myself, if the market sells off and I'm not in anything, then guess what? I just view it as a dip buy opportunity. Or I can go with the market if it's bullish, or short the market if it's bearish. And again, no one that is prepared freaks out during a market pullback. It's only those that did not prepare. So let's go ahead and actually talk about this very quickly. What is a CPI data report? So CPI data report is a monthly report that the Bureau of Statistics releases every single month. And the great thing about this report is that it simply documents month over month if inflation is going up or if inflation is going down. And inflation is split up into two different categories. There's CPI, and then there's core CPI. Core CPI is considered everything except food and energy. Core CPI is more heavily focused on because right now the Federal Reserve is raising interest rates, and the Federal Reserve, by raising interest rates, can only affect core CPI. Regardless of how much they raise interest rates, regardless of how much they drop interest rates, it does not affect the prices of oil or energy and food, right? Definitely does not affect the overall supply of that. With that being said, where is this posted? You can go to bls.gov and /CPI. This is actually where the report is going to be released. So tomorrow, 1 hour before the market opens, this is the website that I'm going to be on to see what is released. And it's going to be released in this section on the top right. So you can see that here it's talking about the August report, because the report that's going to be released tomorrow is the September report. The full month has to complete, and then it gets reported in the following month. So we're in the month of October, so it's the month of September that is going to be reported on tomorrow, October 13th. So I can go ahead and click on PDF, and it pops up something like this. This might be somewhat difficult to read for someone that's never read it before. It's honestly super simple. So CPI, or inflation, is calculated in the past 12 months. And this kind of gives you an idea of the month we just added and the previous month that was just dropped. So it's actually the past 12 months that are just being calculated in this CPI data report. But if you do some quick math, there's an actual formula that they use to calculate that CPI data report. But we're currently at 8.3%. That is the current rate of inflation according to the last month's report. What is the expectation for the one that's going to be reported tomorrow? A question a lot of people have. The expectation for tomorrow's CPI data report for overall CPI is 8.1%. So current rate of inflation or CPI data is 8.3, and they expect it to drop to 8.1. But again, we are dropping the month of September of the previous year, right, of 2021, and we're adding the new month. So if we're dropping 0.4, that means as long as we don't rise on average more than 0.4, then we should most likely see a drop, right? Because we drop September and then we add September, right? So if we go down to this, what is calculated in the CPI data report? There's food and then all the line items. There's energy and then going down all the months, right? And then there's a series of commodities and services like transportation, apparel, used car, all this stuff, right? The biggest area that has seen the largest form of inflation is definitely the energy sector. You can see the energy sector has the biggest numbers in comparison to any other sector that makes up the CPI data report. So anytime that you see oil or any form of energy price rising, then understand that as a whole, it probably is because the energy sector is the most inflated year over year based off of what is going on with Russia attacking Ukraine and Russia being one of the world's largest oil manufacturer, right? Manufacturers, sorry. With that being said, what is to be expected for the core CPI? Core CPI as of last month is at 6.3%. They expect core CPI to actually rise 6 to 6.5%. So that would be a rise of 0.4%. Overall CPI is expected to rise 0.2%. So again, if we drop the previous month, and we're at 8.3% already, right? As a whole, 8.3%, we drop the previous month of September and we add the new one, they expect it to be 0.2. So you guys see the 0.1? That was last month. So as long as we rise about 0.2, that is what the market has already factored in. And with that, that would put us at 8.1% inflation, still showing that we are making a steady decline from our previous 9.1%, which is considered to be our peak inflation. Now, what happens if overall CPI doesn't come in at 8.1? What happens if instead of reporting a 0.2% increase, it reports a 0.4 or a 0.6? The market will most likely drop, right? Because if inflation comes in higher than expected, then you have to think about the domino effect. The Federal Reserve will only justify raising interest rates more so the economy feels more of the pressure, forcing it to slow down. Now, what happens if the CPI number comes in lower than expected? Let's say that we're expecting a 0.2% increase, but we only see a 0.1%. Or what if we actually see a decrease? Well, in that case, the market will most likely react in a positive way, because at that point, then the Federal Reserve can justify taking a less aggressive approach, raising interest rates, because they already see that the economy is already feeling the pressure. This is why it's important to understand what is being reported tomorrow. It's based off of expectation and then what is actually reported and how the Federal Reserve will justify being more aggressive or more conservative in the way that they raise interest rates. That's what it's all about. It's all about how the Federal Reserve will view that CPI data and then determine on their next meeting, should they continue to raise interest rate 0.75%? Should they do a full basis point? Or should they just do half a basis point, right? This is the great thing about that. And again, this is going to be released 1 hour before the market opens tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or at 5:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is in Arizona, which is where I'm going to be live streaming from. So again, I hope that the way that I broke things down made it pretty simple to understand. I wanted to show you the website so you have a full understanding on where you can go to be able to do your own analysis and read this report yourself. And I also wanted you to understand current expectation and current market sentiment when it comes down to that CPI data report. I'm super excited to host that live stream. Again, all we literally ask you to do is to drop a thumbs up, get this video to over 2,000 likes, and I will host that free CPI data free CPI live stream tomorrow, 1 hour before it opens. All you have to do is show up, and let's be prepared for the market to react. Again, if you have any questions about what we talked about today, feel free to shoot me a direct message via Discord. That's that first link in the description. Or if you want to watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow, I trade live every single morning exclusively with my LPP team, and that's that second link down below. And right now we are running a huge sale, so if you've been waiting for a huge discount, then click that second link, and I'll see you tomorrow at market open for our live trading session. And yes, the only team that I work with on a closer basis, and if you want my assistance, it is the LPP team. And again, that's that second link down below. Appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.